Welcome to CF 2.0 Geek Out, where we deep dive into ClickFunnels 2.0 and how to use it to grow your funnel building business.
Hey, I'm Susan.
And I'm Andrea.
Come along with us as we learn and discover how to use the new ClickFunnels and how to make it bend to our will. Hello, everybody. Welcome to CF 2.0 Geek Out. I'm Susan Leonardson.
I'm Andrea. I missed you.
Yay. It feels like it's been forever since we've been on here together.
It has been way too long, indeed.
We're excited, though, today. We have you can see from the caption with this video, we are going to start creating the funnel hub that we want to have for this community, this endeavor, this CF 2.0 Geek Out stuff. So we figured, why don't we just create it and build it live in front of all of you instead of just telling you like, oh, okay, here's what we worked on this week. Like, that's boring. Let's just do it together.
Yeah, we're going to Bob Ross.
Yes, we're going to do that. So we're going to start from step number one, literally step number one of where everyone should be starting. And we're going to work through this process. So you can use this. I did ask in the Facebook group earlier this week on Monday, like, hey, how many of you would want to come and jump on a Zoom and like just work through and building our funnel hubs together? And we got a little bit of a response, but not a lot of you seemed to be interested in that. So I think this is probably the next best thing, because you can just jump on here with us, whether it's live or watching the recording or replay or watching it on YouTube later. You can just kind of go do it along with us in a sense. So we're going to start
full
there.
Transparency. So I am in a certification program and there is some training from there, but in full transparency, I've not done it yet. So we are like learning with you. And I mean, we've been dabbling in it as beta customers, but in terms of like full blown builds, I guarantee that we're going to, and I know Susan, I think you prepped it last time, but guarantee we're going to run into issues. We're going to run into all the things. So it's almost like reality TV show meets Geek Out. Yes. Ooh, maybe we can do that on like YouTube channel, like a banner, you know, like reality TV show.
Yes. Yeah, and you guys,
funnel builders and design hackers trying to figure out 2.0. Dun, dun, dun.
We're just going through it all messy like normal, like anyone else is going to be going through it. That's how it's not going to be polished. These videos are not polished by any means.
Nope.
So if that's not your thing, come back later. We'll have some polished things later when we're out of beta. Okay, I want to make sure I can see any comments that you guys are leaving. So feel free, please participate, say hello if you're here watching, ask us questions along the way. So we're going to, I don't even know how many weeks ago it was, but there was an episode of Geek Out where we talked about style guides. And I gave you guys a Canva template of like, okay, this is what you should figure out when you are trying to figure out. The intention of that was to prepare you for moving your style, your branding into 2.0. And so I made a Canva template. I shared that link to all you guys. You can go find that. And so today, to start off, we're going to just kind of quickly go through that as we're creating the brand guide for Geek Out. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through it together. We're going to be quick with this though, because we also want to get to doing some stuff in the actual 2.0 account. So this is where we're at. Now, Andrea, do you want to kind of walk us through these first few things that we need to figure out?
Sure. Yeah. So obviously our business name. So we didn't officially incorporate as an LLC. So I don't know that we have a business name, but in terms of what we would call ourselves or how to refer to it, it is CF Geek Out 2.0. And so this is a little bit of a, in the business world, you might call it a DBA, although it's not really officially associated with an LLC because we have no plans of monetization outside of our typical business structures. So, I think here it is just simply CF 2.0 Geek Out.
Yes.
And then, we were very cautious about using the ClickFunnels logo and name, hence why we called it CF 2.0 Geek Out and not ClickFunnels. And then our branding color, we wanted to be synonymous with ClickFunnels, but again, we have to be respectful of their own brand. And so we had something, hence you can see like in the design, it was, we used a lot of the similar colors family, and they have these gears, but we separated them just to try to have something that is unique, and not a total ripoff.
Yeah. We want it to be associated in a way, like maybe that's not the right word because we're not associated with ClickFunnels. We don't work for them. We are not paid by anything by them. We're totally doing this on our own, but we're still like when someone looks at what we're doing and they see CF, they're gonna be like, oh, ClickFunnels. Oh, they're talking about something about ClickFunnels. Like we wanted it to be sort of connected, but we are not associated with them.
Yeah. And I would say in terms of short description, what we do, I mean, I think that the pervasive goal is, and Susan and I, this extends even beyond the Geek Out, but I think it is about, we want to go deep with people who are deep in either agency or build work who, a lot of times we have very surface level conversations about what ClickFunnels can do and the strategy and the marketing, but very few times do we actually combine the technical deep dive, like no kidding from the trenches, like this is the reality, with that strategy. And so I think part of this goal in this community was twofold. It was to share, Susan and I participate in a smaller mastermind with super brainy ClickFunnels people. And then we wanted to also be able to expose that work and share that work with other people out there that might also be super brainy and want to geek out or want to learn from the geeks. So the purpose of this immediate community is for that latter. And then we have the mastermind, which is like the inner group for super nerdies.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So then none of this is going to be perfect because we have not thought about these answers ahead of time. So we're just going to move on with imperfect answers.
The only other thing I would add in there too is just the exchange. I think a lot of times, yes, we are the talking heads right now, but I do think that there is a goal of just trying to increase the exchange, which we have seen a little bit so far in the Geek Out 2.0 group, but we would love it to be even more of just, I think that I come from a place of abundance, and I think the more that we all share and talk about ClickFunnels and more we make it a norm, that's the only way that ClickFunnels gets to 1 million users, is because we normalize it. And the only way we normalize it is by all of us talking about it and sharing what we're doing. In my mind.
Yes. I 100% agree. I am not going to put any thought into how to word that into this at the moment.
Okay, no worries. How about just
that is what it is.
Idea exchange or best practice exchange or the geek exchange or something like that. We don't have to make it formal wording. Perfect. Love it. Beautiful.
Hold on. We got this. We got this among the ClickFunnels community. Something like that. That's our goals. Okay. All right. So, and we're doing all of this leg work, this foundation work, because so many businesses don't do this and they move forward without a solid intention of like, why am I even making this funnel hub? Why do I even need this? Why do I even need my, YouTube channel? Why do I even need this community? And I think some people just kind of go and wing it and they skip this. So we're going to just start with this step by step and go through it with you. Now, this is getting even more deep. But I think that's pretty much what we talked about right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's this, we may actually just use this as the mission and may just put a tagline right here if we ever come up with a tagline, but we're going to just use that there. Okay. And I think that this here, our vision when we were first creating this group, this community, was really to like what Andrew was just saying, but I think it's also, to show people, I kind of put it in here, to show people more possibilities. Yes. Hello, Nathan. Shout out to Nathan. I saw his comments in there. To show people there's the possibilities of what can happen. We have really a lot of experience in ClickFunnels 1.0 to the point where we manipulate it and make it go beyond what it was intended to do. That in 2.0, we're like, okay, here's what we can do in 1.0. Does it translate over to 2.0? What are we going to have to do to 2.0 to make it do what we want it to do? So I think that it's really to show this might be not exactly right, but to show the possibilities of what you can do with ClickFunnels. And really, this is why we have our masterminds of like, what are you working on? What are you working on this week? Oh, that's so cool. I want to know how to do that. Like that's what we're doing. So
I think there's a little bit of this too in terms of vision and, in terms of Geek Out. And that is that I think a tie that binds in terms of value is that I think we value trying to create the best possible customer experience that we can. It's something that we talk about a lot. It's something that we design for. And in order to do that, whenever you're making a technology decision, you always come up to this question of, I really want to be able to customize the customer experience. And I'm going to take the hit potentially on the administration being super whiz bang easy, right? To give an analogy for people coming from like website world, right? WordPress is a heavier weight. You could easily go to Wix and Squarespace and the normal Joe Schmo could set up a website, right? But if you actually want to make it customized and on brand and do cooler stuff, it's WordPress. ClickFunnels is equivalent, right? Like you could easily go out and use some other funnel builder. It might even be a little bit easier to use, but especially in the membership site area, right? But it doesn't give you the freedom to create the experience that you're intending. So I think there is a very common thread of we prioritize the customer experience in our adoption and promotion of ClickFunnels. And I think that's
awesome. Just bear with me a minute, guys. I'm adjusting screen so you can see things a little bit better. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on. Now we're getting into like we haven't touched on intention of the funnel hub. And I'm realizing there isn't a specific page in this template that covers that. So I'm going to go ahead and create one. Yeah. And if you, Andrea, want to just kind of talk about like, why would one want a funnel hub, and specifically, why do we want a funnel hub? What's our goal with that? And I'll just start adding things in.
Yeah. So the intention of the funnel hub, first, I actually think it's easier to start with what it's not.
Yeah.
So you do not drive traffic to your funnel hub. Your funnel hub is not the first and foremost thing that you lead people to. It's not the thing that you have out and promoted on all of your social. The funnel hub is simply your website replacement. And it is a place that it legitimizes your business, similar to what we would do with a website in terms of just the legitimacy. But the number one purpose of the funnel hub is that it is one place that if you have to drive somebody there, or if they're looking for you on what's called a shadow funnel, meaning they're going out to Google and they're trying to find you, then this is one of the top hits that show up. And when they get there, your number one goal is to drive them into one of your funnels. So it is not intended to be super a lot of copy. It is really intended to like, how quickly can I get them into one of my funnels? And I'm doing it for the purpose of findability and to legitimize.
Okay. So specifically, I may not put this down in words at this moment, but specifically, what we are going to do with Geek Out is because Andrea, she has her own business. Awesome. Nathan, you're a superstar. He grabbed the link, put it into the chat in the Facebook group.
Yay! Thanks, Nathan.
For this template. Okay. So for Geek Out, Andrea, she has her own business, or Delphi, right?
Yeah, it's a hot mess right now. So Delphi, journey crafting, customer retention.
Yes. She has her own business, her own offers. I have my own business, my own offers. We have Dan, who's our super geek contributor. He has his own business, his own offers. Like we are each doing our own things while they overlap in some areas. And we honestly, like, what a super team. We like complement each other's offers. So in no way are we ever really like competing per se. So our vision and intention with the Funnel Hub is to create a place where we can all stick in like, okay, here's what Andrea does. If you want to go work with her, if you need her services, click over into her funnels or click over to her Funnel Hub that's specific to her business, like whatever Andrea decides to do. And then here's Susan, here's what she does. Here's Dan, here's what he does. And anybody else that, you know, comes and joins on to our little team here. It's to drive people to our own individual offers. So I feel like this is like a really great example of how a Funnel Hub can be used. It's like, it is literally going to be a hub for each one of our businesses.
It's like a portal.
Yes, it's a portal. So that is the intention. Now I realize like the intention of your business is going to be different than the intention of each like asset thing in your business. So this page is probably not necessary for most of you, but for purposes of what we're doing here today, I'm adding it in. So this page is not in the template, but like we could totally add in like, okay, well, what's the intention of the Facebook community? What's the intention of the YouTube channel? So you can just kind of go through like anytime you feel like I need to go create this thing. Okay, why? Why do you feel like you need that? What's it serving? What's the purpose? And I think if you do that before you go and create things, you're going to be much better off. You're going to be, there's going to be a reason and you're not going to feel like you're wasting time. And you're not going to go and waste your time and be like, I really didn't need to do that.
It also helps
not part of my strategy at all.
Yeah, it helps in decision making too of like, do we do that thing? Let's go back to our intention. So
I think this is going to be like the to exchange the exchange thing that Andrew was talking about, exchange ideas and
increase communication amongst ClickFunnels builders.
And our YouTube channel is to drive people to the Facebook group.
Yep. Get the word out. It's traffic.
Yeah. So there's a rhyme and reason. Now, we are not perfect. When we first started this idea, we're like, let's start a podcast.
Yep, that's true.
We didn't set the intention of like, okay, but what are we going to do with the Well, we actually did thoroughly outline, okay, here's all the things we could talk about. We were up till our 2 a.m. late night last FHL and we're like, what are all the things? But because there were so many unknowns at the time, we launched the podcast, we started doing it, and then we quickly realized like podcast does not make sense at all. So we dropped the podcast, moved it to YouTube. We're like, everything we do is visual. We can't have a podcast.
Yep.
Okay, so if we had thought that through a little bit more, we probably would have figured it out before we launched the podcast. All right. Okay, let's see. How quickly can we move through some of this? We have, I'm probably going to skip the mood board because we actually have, I've already created, I think I have it pulled up here. I can show. Yeah, right here. I use Affinity Design. So I already have like a whole style brand thing here.
Which just, I mean, because I think a lot of people don't know, Susan. I know it's a little bit of a war on my team. I have a graphic designer that uses the Adobe suite, and I have a graphic designer that uses Affinity. And I think Affinity it's much more affordable version, and you can still do everything that you can do in Adobe. And so I think it's like for any of us who are really heavy in design world, it's a heavyweight. It's a design heavyweight tool. For those of you who are Canva lovers, I tend to go to Canva more, actually, just because it's just my preference, but it's like what Susan's using right now is like you do 10 times more in terms of just features and functions with graphic design work. Is that fair, Susan?
Yeah, I'd say so. I use both. I use Canva. This is totally side tangent, but let's just talk about it. I use Canva for certain things. I use Canva if I need to come and create something that I want to be shareable, a template. I use it, honestly, I pay for the lowest possible membership to Canva that you can. And I come in here and I use, like, I was creating a background I'm like, okay, we need like a cool background pattern for our brand. So I'm like, what can I come up with? So I come in here and I like grab graphics and photos and stuff. It is my primary source for coming and finding stock things, which is awesome because I don't have to go and pay for another service. And I use it to create like social media images or like cover photos. Sometimes I use Affinity for cover photos. But Affinity is like, yeah, it's like, okay, if you're a graphic designer, if you want to come in and create something like totally custom and you want absolute control over every little spacing and how it looks, and like that's when you would use Affinity or Adobe's Illustrator. Is that what it is? Like, I don't even know what it's called. I don't use Adobe products.
Yeah.
The only Adobe product I have is Photoshop Elements from like 15 years ago. That's down here on my little toolbar on my screen.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so when I say Affinity, that's what I mean. This is just where I come and create all the graphics for all the projects I do. So, and I have this template that I use for brand, like a quick brand guide. Anyway, okay, so I'm not going to waste our time doing that on here. I think the mood or energy, though, we could define. I think the mood and energy and like feeling that we overall want is kind of more in line with like, we're geeky.
It's like Bill Nye, the science guy kind of thing, where it's like, you know, you're going to go deep, but we're going to have some fun. Yeah, there's definitely levity. I think a little bit too is like commiseration, maybe. Like we're, you know, fellow journeyers, people who are on a similar path. So and cool. Nathan said that he found us on YouTube. Very cool. Love it.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome to hear, because we see our YouTube. By the way, our YouTube channel is growing, but we do need some more subscribers. So if you have not subscribed to YouTube, go and subscribe so that we can edit our custom URL.
I love it.
But we have passed the 1,000 view mark of the channel, which is awesome. Yay! Thank you for watching. Okay. All right. So we're going to skip through this. I think we know what our mood is. We have our brand. We have our logo. We're going to skip through that. We have all these things, right? So let's go ahead and jump over to, this is not our fonts, but I have that all worked out. So I have we hide all this stuff and bring over 2.0 account. Okay.
Yay.
So I'm already in here. I just submitted a bug report, so let's hide that. Okay. ClickFunnels 2.0. You are looking in the back end. It is not perfect. They are still working out a lot of bugs, but we're going to go ahead and connect the domain that we have for Geek Out to my account. So we're going to just go ahead and start using
drum roll, please.
Yeah, we're going to start using my account to build this.
And I think what's really important, Susan, too, just for everyone listening, is that so a lot of us were actively building 1.0 and we have sites in 1.0. I am not ready to pull my domains over. Susan doesn't want to pull her domains over because that will break everything. So we have a clean domain. There is nothing else out on CF 2.0 domain. So we're going to use that and start from scratch with this. So it's not a subdomain. It's a legit full-blown domain that we're doing.
Yes. Yeah. So I have changed all the things in my account already to where, like, when you jump in and you start creating your account, you have to go in and make a subdomain for your ClickFunnels domain. So you can see I already have the CF 2.0 geekout.myclickfunnels.com. And this is specific to this site. So in the future, we're going to be able to have multiple sites per account. And so this site is going to be dedicated to CF 2.0 Geek Out. And then when they allow me, I will create another site that'll be for my business. So we're going to create an actual like domain, though. We're not going to just use the ClickFunnels domain. So we're going to go ahead and connect it. So you can kind of just watch and see how smooth or how not smooth this goes.
And just for the record, so this is an interesting one, right? So I highly encourage all of my clients to buy their domains on Namecheap and Cloudflare. That is my weapon of choice. I choose that because the most popular ones out there, like GoDaddy and Google domains, they are incredibly difficult to work with. And if you ever want to transfer the domains, they make it very, very hard. So I have found Namecheap to be the absolute least regulatory in terms of like their grasp on your domain. And they're just super easy to work with. You can get them cheap and I love it. I've never had a problem with Namecheap and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's my normal weapon stack choice of,
That's what I use too. I love Namecheap. And then Andrea mentioned Cloudflare. So we use Cloudflare as like the middleman between Namecheap and ClickFunnels. And I don't know all of the technical stuff behind why that happens, but I know in my experience, and Andrea, you probably know more, but it makes the connection more secure. It makes things run faster, and it just generally just makes it work. Like, I'm like, okay, it works. Like a lot of people who go and start connecting their domains to ClickFunnels, they have an issue with like the www version of the URL not working, or the other version of it not working, of the not having the triple W in there. And yes, usually you can fix that just fine inside of your domain host, but it's not always. I've used a couple of those domain hosts for like clients. I'm like, it's not allowing me to create the right redirects for this to work properly. So now I just make it a standard thing, like we use Cloudflare. Andrea, do you have anything to add to that of like why Cloudflare is in there?
Well, I think you handled it. So yeah, Cloudflare, it handles the security and it handles the redirects. And that's the reason.
Okay. And they have like really cool features in there too, where it just like, it compresses stuff on the pages, like in behind the scenes, so that your pages load faster, it runs smoother. Like it does a lot of cool stuff, and it's free. You can create a free account. Okay. So there are the choices of buy a new domain in ClickFunnels or connect an existing domain. And so I think we just kind of, we just told you our preference is to just get it in Namecheap, don't buy it in ClickFunnels, but that's our preference. If you're not very technical, maybe you do want to just buy it in ClickFunnels and have it already be in there. But
I still really, I know this is going to go against ClickFunnels, but I think just as a wise business move, I would not have my domain in ClickFunnels. It gives you ultimate freedom over your domain. So I think, and I don't know that ClickFunnels right now, like on 1.0, you don't have a way to really manage your DNS if you buy your domain on ClickFunnels. It's kind of an awkward third party. So anyway, I don't encourage you to buy your domain via ClickFunnels. Yes.
Okay. So in 1.0, how we typically set these up is we do not use the www dot, and we do all of the redirecting and handling of that in Cloudflare. But as Dan gave us a heads up on before, they are forcing the www. So that just means we have to switch up what's happening in Cloudflare. So we basically have to set it up opposite of how we normally set it up. So we're going to have the www is getting forwarded to the non-www, right?
Yeah.
Did I say that the right way?
You did, and I really love Dan to come on at some point and talk to us, because this is not a good thing that they're forcing the www. And anyway, but we will abide because we're being forced to. So, and Nathan's asked, so you have your domain name server set up in Cloudflare and then you forward to see it. Yep. So let me look. Do you want me to show just behind the scenes, Susan? On the
yeah, let's do that. We're gonna show Cloudflare, and Andrea's got that pulled up.
Okay, so right here, I have my Namecheap up. So the first thing is you go and you buy the domain on Namecheap. So I went and bought the domain, it's right here. Then you go into manage the domain, and you can see here that you go to the custom, you choose custom DNS in the record here. And then this is now when you start to make the connection to Cloudflare. So then I go over to Cloudflare, I add the site, and then the first thing that they have you do is they add the CNAMEs. So you can see here, this is the typical way that you would set it up, where I have a CNAME of the CF 2.0 Geek Out, and it's pointing to target.clickfunnels.com. And then I have a www that's pointing to the CF Geek Out. And then the last thing that I do in here that handles the redirects is the rules. This is where Dan's going to yell at me because I don't follow his thing, because I've had some problems with it. But normally Susan has not had any problems for the record. So I think it's maybe just a me thing. But this is where then you can see, I say, okay, if somebody goes in, they type in www.cf2.0 Geek Out, I want you to redirect to the HTTPS CF 2.0 Geek Out. Now, because they are forcing us to do www, what I actually have to do here now is, I think I'm going to have to do this, maybe.
I think you don't need, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. We're going to have to just try
Let's see. Here's the test. And then I also don't know, we might have to do something different on the CNAME record too. because I registered.
You'll have to switch those as well, right? Because we want the www pointing to ClickFunnels, and then we want the non-Ws to point to the www.
Yeah. Sorry. We're gonna save that, and then we're gonna do this one. Is gonna be the so this is gonna be the @www. Does that look right?
I think you've got it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We'll see.
Probably put the entire URL in there.
Okay. Well, I have the. Yeah, that's the root. Okay, got it. CF2.
Oh, and actually, I'm sorry. You want to put www there, not the @. @ would be for the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's still not working. So it does not like the W's in there. So I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna handle this.
Yeah.
So
okay, I'm gonna delete this record for now. Okay. So at least we have the www pointing at clickfunnels.com, and let's see if ClickFunnels helps us in their tutorial. So I'll hop it back over to you.
Okay. And we are gonna have to wrap this up in a few minutes. Andrea's got a hard stop time, so we're gonna just see what happens here in the next few minutes. So we have to have the www. We have that. It is registered. We want to add the domain. Let's get started setting it up. Start domain setup process.
Fingers crossed.
Did you see that right there? Let me close this out. Optional, redirect CF 2.0 geekout.com to www. And then it's a setting in here. So we may not need to do all that in Cloudflare. Continue.
I wondered too, because what I added was I added the root domain, not the www.
Oh, shoot. We got to log in.
That's okay. Let me send you, Susan.
I'll drop it in the chat and I will do it off screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do it that way. Okay.
That's good. Yeah, I'll just do it off screen. So bear with us for a moment, everybody.
All right. So username is my email.
Okay. Yeah, that.
There you go. And then Nathan, hopefully that answered your question. Yeah, that's what we're thinking too, Nathan, that it'll add it for you when you log in.
All right, it is authenticating right now. We can see the blue bar moving.
Cool. Or you could click the link on the bottom to do it yourself.
Oh, yeah, or forward login to a colleague. That's handy.
Interesting.
I'll have to try that out sometime.
Yeah.
See what records will be added.
Okay. It's interesting that they're adding the text message or the text file in there too automatically. I think that's for like, I'm wondering if that's for like SendGrid internal. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because it's SPF. Yeah. It's adding the SPF record. Yeah.
Okay, it is now configured.
Yay.
Okay, now normally there would be another step to like do the secure, the SSL, whatever it's called.
Well, and what's really interesting is here it's like, sorry, there was an error during your setup process. So it's like,
I think that's because I X'd it out. This didn't show up until I had X'd that pop-up out to come back to the screen.
Well, what up in the top right, it says test connection.
What if we there we go. We're in the process of adding, so it's going to automatically start the SSL process.
I wonder though, because like right now it gives that exact same error message, but you actually have to do
it. We're in the process of adding it. We'll notify
you. Refresh status.
Refresh status. I think that just kind of did this here. Everything. matches. So, we were unable to connect your domain. It just popped up right there. So I wonder if it is the Cloudflare settings that we normally do for 1.0. But
yeah, let me try to, instead of, I'm going to try adding the www version because I just did the root as the site. So
do you want to try removing the page rules too?
Yeah. 2.0, what are we at? CF 2.0, Geek Out.com. All right, so I'm over in Cloudflare. Yeah, interestingly, okay, let's see. CF 2.0, geekout.com. Yeah, so it says I have to provide a root domain. It doesn't let me do a www in Cloudflare. So let me try to remove, let's see, 2.0.
I think that what this means is that, well, we can still have it going through Cloudflare for the other reasons that we like to have it going through there. We don't need to have all of the redirect stuff happening because their ClickFunnels is going to handle that.
Cool. So I deleted all of the redirect.
Okay. We're trying it one more time. We'll see what happens. If this doesn't work, we're going to get Dan on it.
I love it.
And he can figure it out for us. And then we'll come back and give you guys an update on how we should be setting these up. Okay, so while this is finishing, we next week we will continue setting up the funnel hub for Geek Out. We're just going to keep doing this until we're all done with it. So next week we'll probably be getting into the actual build of like starting to put things onto the page. And that'll give us some time between today and next week to gather the information we want to put on there. We'll probably have like a little bio or something from each of us to put on it, and then links to our funnels. Let's just do a quick, okay, so we don't have that error because I didn't do anything for that to pop up. Testing connection. Successfully connected. Okay, so whatever you did on the Cloudflare end, it looks like it worked. It's still trying to do the SSL.
And I just deleted the redirect is what I did. Okay. So there are no page rules.
Okay, so yeah, this process might change once Dan has his eyes on it, and he'll be like, no, you really need to keep something. We'll figure that out. But right now we got it connected. So that means...
Nathan asked, do you think there would be an easier process by the 4th? Honestly, Nathan, I don't, because I think that they are probably all hands on deck for the editor. So we will see, though, depending on the feedback they get.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not quite propagated yet, but
that doesn't mean
it's not done doing that yet. Let me try the www.
Yeah,
oh, it's connected to it. So it loaded, but it's connected to it coming soon.
But you had to type in www. So they're not handling the redirect rules.
It's not.
So we have to figure out how to do the redirecting in Cloudflare.
Yeah, or they need to make their actual little enabling the redirect thing actually work.
Yeah,
because apparently it's not working.
Yeah.
Oh wait, maybe that just worked. Hold on, let me just. What am I doing? I forgot where I do this. There we go. New private window.
Okay, so this is not the www.
This is not.
This is the root.
Yes. Maybe it just needed a little bit of time. It's loading. Maybe. Yeah, there it goes. It worked.
Okay, cool. Okay. So it does handle the redirect.
Handling it.
Awesome.
All right, yeah, it just needed a little bit more time. Okay, awesome. So that is exciting because that'll fix a lot of people's problems.
Yeah, right? You don't have to do that page roll anymore. Sweet. All right.
Cool. Okay. Cool. All right. So we'll be back next week. We will continue on this journey of creating our funnel hub. Thanks for joining us with us.
Yeah. Thanks, Nathan. Big shout out. Let us know if you guys have any questions.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Bye.